Putting that math and that big brain to work.
Yeah, right. It's like, the math ain't mathing, and since that's my job, I should be good at it.
And let's see, we are live on the YouTube. And
Yay!
do.
On the YouTube.
Yeah, I'll wait just a couple minutes until going live on the radio.
No problem.
Let's
Move
see.
some stuff around here. I like to monitor the broadcasts as well. Got the audio issues fixed with Sheila on Friday, I believe. So people can hear her now on the
That's good.
other
I have
side of
to check with George. I wasn't able to listen in on it, but
Well, for some reason, I can't use the stereo mix, the setting. It keeps telling me there's nothing there, but I did find another setting that worked. And whenever she
okay.
spoke, the bars, like, so that's how I noticed, like, the bars, the green bars when you're talking on the
Yeah.
butt software, they were moving for me, but not for her. But this past week, when she was
Mhm.
speaking, they were moving. So it was receiving her voice.
Okay. All right. Well, long as they whatever settings works, it works. So
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
And Gretchen's not having a ghost conversation with herself.
And then somebody's listening to the radio. It's like, yeah,
What is happening here?
uh-huh. Well, that's interesting. And it's like, what's interesting? What are you talking about?
What? What is interesting? Or if I laugh at something she says, it's like risque, and they don't get to hear it. Like, come on. But now we
Right?
got it fixed. And of course we've got the YouTube streams and all that. So I mean, you can still go and watch them there.
Right. So, hey, it's all good. It is all good. So let's see.
Recording in progress.
Let's try to go live. Oh, and we are live on the Radia. We are live on the Radia and on the lives, on the YouTubes and everywhere in betweens. So
Places and the things.
we're at the places and the things. I think. Looks like we are. I think so.
And it is that time, 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Though it still feels like later, but because it was 4, it would be 4,
Hold
right?
up.
With the time thing. With the time thing, except for those of you in Arizona. You guys don't do that there. I don't know why.
It's
Not really.
hold up. Please
I
don't
don't
tell
think
me.
any of us should do it, but it is that time. It is the rules of Nerdquisition for November 3rd, 2024. And we've got all the places and the things going. All the systems are running. All the stations are receiving. And we're ready to talk some nerd stuff in Star Trek. And as Jeff Pierce over in our YouTube chat said, stuff and things.
Stuff and
You
things.
heard it
That's what
from
we're talking about. Yeah. We're talking
you
about
heard it from
stuff and things.
Rick's mouth, right from Rick's mouth. I've got stuff, things.
Got stuff. Got things. Yeah. So,
Ah,
Gretchen, how are you?
I'm doing
First off,
well.
before we get started, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm I'm doing all right today. I'm doing quite all right today. So,
Give it a few more
as
minutes and I'll be doing really good. Anyway,
right.
that's how we roll here on the rules of Nerdquisition when we're talking about Star Trek. And today's episode is trippy. It's
Yeah,
trippy.
it's a yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's something it's trippy.
Get
Dealing
your
with
fumbles. Take your herbals.
so yeah, it's you're going to need something to kind of wrap your head around what's going on in this whole episode. Fairly straightforward, once you're in the right mindset. It's fairly straightforward, It's a
Yeah.
little bit of twists and turns here and there, but regardless, we're talking about time travel on this one. or time travel, dimension hopping, and all kinds of stuffs in betweens, you know. So now we start out with this particular episode as all the wide-eyed, doughy-eyed Enterprise and her faithful crew is just trucking along, right along in the galaxy, just minding their own business, not bothering anybody. Then all of a sudden, they get this wave of
Blammo! And everybody
blam, and everybody does the
shit getting hit.
of course the right. So they get hit with something, and then all of a sudden, just something pops up on the radar. A random one person on a planet, and they're just like, "Yo, Spock, what the hell's going on, man?" Spock's like, "Hey, bro, I don't know." So Spock's like, "Yo, something happened. Far as what I could see, it's everywhere. It started right here, and I don't know, bruh. I don't know, bruh. I think we might have to go down and take a look, man. I don't know what's going on right down here, bruh." So Kirk is like, "Yo, all right, then, let's do it. We're going down."
Go.
So they head down to the planet, and they see this crazy dude just hops up out of the rock, say, "You're here, you're here." Like, who the hell is this dude? First thing is, who's this dude? I mean, you go down there, right? I don't know about you, Gretchen. I'm myself personally. If I'm going down there and I see some dude just hops up from off the mountains and just say, "Yo, you're here, you're here." It's like, the hell is this? I don't know you, man. Hold up. So I got questions first.
He's like completely disheveled.
Mm-hmm. Disheveled,
Just,
got blood and dirt and torn clothes and,
he looks like Peter Jackson after he finished the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
right.
Like,
Yeah, just
I'm done.
so just so yeah, and Kirk is like, "Yo, who's this dude?" Spock's like, "Man, I don't know." All the red shirts is like, "Yo, who's this guy?" Hey, man, I don't know either. And everybody's wondering, who's this dude that says that he knows us and that he's glad we're here? Who the hell is this? I don't know. So then,
It's like the guy that comes to your party, walks in, and everyone's going, "Who's this dude that just showed up at the party?" And he's
right?
walking around talking to people like he knows everyone.
Yeah, and it's like, "Yo,
Nobody's
who's
like, "Who are you? Who even are you?"
right?" And then all of a sudden, he's just having conversations with people, and just tell them all kinds of details that only way that he would know is that you've been talking to him for like a minute, and he's like, "Yo, the hell you know this, man? Who is you?" Right? So they all see this and they're like, "Yo, man, who are you?" He's like, "Yo, man, so, all right, this is what happened, man. There's this dude that he goes out just killing everybody, right? Just blowing up worlds, everything, man. So you got to help me stop him."
He's got a serious chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And for the
Little bit-
record, this character's name is Lazarus. So that kind of.
So that's kind of like,
I mean, not religious or anything, but I've read the Bible. I know the story of Lazarus. But was played by Robert Brown, who passed away sadly at the age of 95 on September 19th, 2022. Boom, boom, 100%.
100%, boom, headshot, bam, every time.
Kill to death ratio, no scope.
I just eyeballed that shit.
Meanwhile,
So, yeah, he's like, "Yo, man, you got to help me kill this dude because, he's going around just murking every planet left and right." So Kirk's like, "Well, hold up. Wait a minute. I got a couple questions first. Number one, who are you? Number two, who is this dude? Number three, how the hell did you get here? Number four, when did you get here? Because we were just passing by and we didn't see shit. And all of a sudden, our ship just went the whole thing like this, and we did our whole And now all of a sudden, you pop up. Where the hell you been? Who the hell are you? And so, yeah, he goes through and says, my name's Lazarus, and, I'm from, Phi Beta Kappa Pi Phi Phi Pi Pi Omicron Persei 387.2. And he's like, yeah, yeah, and this dude, and I need some power, so I can go over where he's at and blow him up, so he won't blow us up. And Kirk is like, wait a minute, so
it's a whole thing going on here. It's like a whole
yeah, it's a whole big old conflict that is, for the fate of the world. Well, I'm sorry, where the fate of the universe is at stake. So,
well, gee, Kirk, what we gonna do tomorrow night? Same thing we do every night, Spock. Try to save the world.
Every time.
Every time.
So yeah, and so Kirk is like, still got a couple more questions, because what you're asking for is like, you're basically wanting me to give you a tactical nuke on just the faith of there's this dude. I don't know you, man. You're just a dude. And so Lazarus is like, you know what? I'm gonna take matters in my own hands. And he decides to steal a couple dilithium crystals, and he's gonna go and use those to blow up the dude. Blow up the dude that's about to, murk the entire universe.
At least Kirk didn't give him tactical nukes and stuff like that. Dr. Baltar just walked up to Commander Adama and was like, "Hey, my little machine needs a nuke." And Adama's like, "Here."
And I was like, all right, cool. You need two of them? Yeah, right?
You want two? Yeah, you want another one? You want to blow up more ships later down the road in this show?
Yeah, I mean, you need two? I mean, just in case one's a dud? Yeah. Right, so he steals the crystals, tries to get back to the surface, and then, Kirk stops him. Just before
George Lucas steals the dilithium crystals, he's still got a grudge against Star Trek.
Right? So Kirk stops him. He's like, hey, whoa. No, not in my house. R.I.P. to Kembe Mutombo. Anyway, so Spock and Kirk do some more investigating. And it's like, yo, what's going on with this? And so they go down to the planet. They start looking around, looking at the ship, looking at the mountains, looking at everything like that. Still, and I think, and this is at the point where Kirk walks into the ship and then goes over to the other universe. Am I right? Or is that later on?
It might be later on, but I mean, he's still trying to figure out this whole jumping universes thing, and and Spock, he's got his hypothesis about all of this stuff, but
yeah, and so initially with
antimatter universe is where this guy's coming from, right? The antimatter universe, right?
Antimatter universe, yes.
Right?
And so I know,
like antimatter and matter, which is how you get warp drive,
right?
Smashing it together,
so yeah,
it together.
And so I think it was their second time coming down, because this time was just a fact-finding mission. So trying to figure out what was going on, if this guy truly was telling the truth, because Spock had already said, yo, man, this guy's lying. And so they're going through doing their investigation, and then, Lazarus all of a sudden just they get back up to the Enterprise, and then all of a sudden, Lazarus not as crazy. He's clean, and he's got no scars or anything like that. And then he's like, yes, well, actually, it's quite embarrassing. So the other gentleman, oh my, so I am going to need some dilithium crystals, so, to prevent this gentleman from destroying everything. And Kirk is still like, you know what, man? Something about something about your story just doesn't. The math ain't mathing on it.
Right, and this is about the time that they're figuring out that this is happening, because like in one moment the dude's all bandaged up, and the next minute after this, like they call it winking.
Yeah,
he's fine.
It winked out, and then all of a sudden he's again. Yes. And so we know the times when he gets swapped out, when the time winks, so to speak, and the entire universe just kind of winks out, and then we find out that part of what Spock was theorizing was correct, in that he was not Lazarus from a different timeline.
Anti-Lazarus.
Da, da, da.
Evil anti-Lazarus, yes.
And so he's from a different timeline, but he's also from a completely different universe as well. The antimatter universe is so
laws of physics and everything.
Right. So Spock learns that Lazarus, the crazy Lazarus, our Lazarus, crazy Lazarus. He's like, I need dilithium crystals. I want to blow them up. And Kirk is like, you know what, dude? I need you to stay right there for a second. Let me pop right down to the other universe and let me have a talk with the other you, because he's a little bit more reasonable. I'll be right back. So they go back down to the planet, hop into the ship.
We'll be right back.
Ding. You got to have the ding at the end. So they go back into the ship, look around. Kirk steps in, and then boom, 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 he pops into the antimatter universe. And so that's when the other Lazarus is like, oh, my captain. Wasn't quite expecting you here. Oh. Well, welcome to my universe. And gives him the whole, filling in the gaps of what Spock has theorized. Say, yes, it's a different timeline, but this is also a different universe. This is the antimatter universe. He said, well, how did I get here? He said, well, that's a little... yeah, that's a little complicated. But just think of it as like
we're wondering this ourselves. We're wondering this ourselves right now.
So yeah, went through what was called a I forgot the name of it, but it essentially it's like a tunnel or a door or a pocket dimension, or something to that effect. That a bridge, so to speak.
Yeah, they call it a dimensional corridor gateway.
Yeah. So.
Sure.
Yeah, think of it almost like a bridge.
Right.
Dimensional bridge. And he's like,
not to be confused with the Rainbow Bridge.
Correct. That's a whole different property.
If you're on that one, I just hope that your affairs were in order.
Correct.
before you got there.
Because yeah, not going to be able to take care of anything else after that.
No.
So yeah, and Captain finds out is that I wanted those crystals because if the crazy me gets it, he's gonna blow all of us up. Well, I wanted to stop him so I could just blow this bridge up, and that way, hey, my universe stays here, your universe stays there, and we don't collide and we don't blow each other up.
Right, because if the two of them were to exist in the same universe at any point, it would cause a cataclysmic chain reaction of matter and antimatter, thus destroying the entire universe, which we know that Kirk and crew they can't accept that.
Right, because that's where all their stuff is at. So
that's where all my stuff and things are.
Right? Can't have this universe blow up. I mean, all my stuff is here.
Well, Welcome to episode 30. Subtitle: Stuff and Things.
Right? I can't have this universe blow up. All my stuff is here.
My stuff. Yes.
Right? So, and then antimatter Lazarus, he says that, hey, so what my plan is that instead, I'm just going to have him, the crazy me, meet me on the bridge. We blow up both the doors on each side, and so I'm just stuck with the crazy me because he's not going to stop until he opens it up again and blows everybody up.
Right.
But if I trap him in here,
put
a
cap on that bottle.
Right.
And put him away.
Right. So the only way he's gonna stay here is if I'm here. So, hey, I gotta stay here on the bridge while he stays on the bridge too, because otherwise, shit's gonna hit the fan.
Right. It's not, it's almost in the way they're getting locked away. It's not going to be as pleasant as what Picard and crew did to Moriarty when they put him in a little computer where he could just explore a whole universe and
Right.
not even know that he wasn't
Right. Even though,
in the real world.
But hey, at least Moriarty had that freedom that he escaped the Enterprise. He beat Data and he beat Picard and the whole crew, but
And he had a girl with him. So
yes, Eddie Hager, and he's just stuck on a
Lazarus
US.
is just stuck with his shaggy self.
Yeah, he's a Moriarty. At least he was stuck on like a external hard drive,
Right.
At least he's like, let's just save him here.
We slapped him on a holographic version of a thumb drive.
Yeah. So he's happy. He's not bothering us. We're happy, so we can keep on trucking.
Keep on trucking, but nah. Lazarus and anti-Lazarus, they gotta hang out on this bridge if all goes to plan.
If all goes to plan, yes. So anti-Lazarus is sitting there waiting on the bridge, and Kirk says, "Yo, all right, let me go hop up and get the crazy you. We'll meet back here in the middle." Kirk dips out. He goes up to the ship and says, "All right, so Lazarus, this is what we're going to do, all right? I'm going to let you out, and I'm going to send you down there. I'm not going to give you any crystals. I can't do that. But I am going to let you out. We'll compromise and I'll let you out."
I sense deception.
And so, Lazarus is like, all right, bet. Yeah, I can do that. And he's thinking, Lazarus thinking, he's like, I'm going to take me a crystal. I got enough baby Earl in me so I can slip past anybody. I could take me a crystal. I'm going to take me a crystal. So
There's baby Earl everywhere. It's seeping into everything.
baby Earl is everywhere. It's seeping into all the stuff. All the Jeffrey's tubes, all the circuits everywhere. And so Lazarus, he makes one last attempt to grab some crystals. Unsuccessful. But, he is able to get down to the surface. They take him there, and then they give him a Sparta kick right into his ship, and then he's stuck on the bridge. Kirk and everybody just hops up on the ship, blows his ship up, and gone. Like gone in 60 seconds, like Nicolas Cage. Just. And so, yeah. That's it. It's a pretty fun episode. Pretty fun, pretty trippy.
It's
you gotta
back and forth. Yeah, it's
you gotta get yourself in the right state of mind to grasp the nuances of it.
and they're going to be fighting on this bridge
For eternity.
for eternity.
Mm-hmm.
And that sounds awful.
It does.
I'm
It
just
does
gonna
for
throw it
real.
out there. I mean, it sounds awful.
Because, I mean, you're thinking about it like this, right? And you're fighting yourself. It's like you. And how long is it going to be before you know, oh, crazy Lazarus is just physically tired of trying to throw, throw these hammers, and he just decides, you know what? I'm just going to get inside your head, mess with you mentally. And then it's like, it'll be all eternity in which he's just, essentially, it's like, Lazarus is just dealing with the worst part of himself.
Wouldn't be like, I mean, neither one could win though. If
No.
you know it's you, I mean, I just one of them at some point is gonna be like, we'll call it a draw. I mean, like,
Yeah. At some point, I mean, they'd have to kind of call it a draw. Because, I mean, even though, yeah,
does he hate himself that much?
Crazy one does, apparently. The crazy one hates himself that much, I guess. The antimatter one, he's like, said, bruh, man, I mean, I just want to live. You just want to live, man. So, said, let's just try, let's close this door. So you go your way, I'll go mine. No! You have to die. You have to die now.
And that's what Kirk is kind of postulating to Spock at the end. He's like, imagine having to fight. And I think that's the most pertinent question in the whole episode. Never mind blowing up whole universes simply by walking into one.
But like having to fight yourself for all eternity.
Cold logic is like, we saved the universe though. It's all good.
Right. And so, and even with Spock,
like it wasn't me.
Right. I mean, it's not a Spock. Even with
out of here on this baby.
Right. Slip on out of here. And so even with Kirk, even he asked Lazarus, like, yo, man, you cool with having, having to fight him, for till the end of time? When like you'll never be able to kind of,
it's
nothing.
All of a sacrifice.
Yeah. And so he's like, yo,
save two universes, I guess.
And so he's like, yo, it's small price to pay to save, two universes. And so it's like, yeah, I kind of see that, yeah. I can understand that side of it. Because, I mean, you're not just thinking about yourself, you're thinking about your family, you're thinking about friends, you're thinking about, just the random, the random kid or, the random parent or the random, just whatever,
Right.
And
no, exactly.
Yeah. And so
I can't fathom that. Eternity is something that always kind of blows my mind when you try. I mean, I think it's supposed to, because as mortal beings that have a finite amount of time on this planet,
right.
You can't think about it. And to Jeff in the YouTube chat, I am the queen of multiple nerd references in a show that's supposed to be about one thing.
Right.
I will just throw those out. Throw nerd references whenever I can get one. Unfortunately, at the beginning, when the ship was rocking and getting attacked, I didn't get to do. I thought too late. I should have been like, she's starting to shimmy.
Shimmy.
She's starting to shake. Let's just hope she doesn't start to shudder. She's starting to shudder.
Right.
And since this is an afternoon show that's, mostly family friendly, I won't do the reenactment on screen. Yeah, we do that. We drop all these nerds references and get completely off track.
Right, we do. We do that. We do that for you, our audience, our lovely peoples. We do that for you. This is
from the heart.
This is our nerd service to you.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
But yeah,
Throw 'em
it
all
kind
out
of,
there. I could do that.
but it definitely kind of gets into a kind of a deeper, almost like a psychological thing of having to essentially be at war with yourself until the end of time. It's like how can you like every day, like the only thing you'll know from this point on is just arguing with yourself, fighting with yourself. Just nonstop. I
Yeah,
guess.
I mean, I fight with myself in the kitchen sometimes. Like, I really want one more cookie, and I shouldn't have another cookie. I want one, but you should.
Right?
I'm gonna have one anyway. Anyway,
It's like, I want some
it's not
pancakes.
an eternal fight. I
It's
usually
like, it's like, man, I want some pancakes. No, your ass don't need no pancakes. But I really want a pancake. Your ass don't need no goddamn pancakes. Shut up about the damn pancakes. You don't need no pancakes. What you need to do is get your ass over there and do some cardio. That's what your ass needs to do. Instead of worrying about a pancake. I'm gonna get a pancake.
you should go outside and touch grass and walk in the grass and stuff.
Right?
Not have more food, but that's not gonna happen because that's no fun. I mean, I don't mind being outside, but if I can have pancakes,
Right? But it's like,
that's what happens.
and the other half of you is
Talking
like,
about food now.
motherfucker, you need to get your ass up, lift some weights. I want that pancake. You need to get your ass get some weights. I'm gonna take that pancake first.
And we're kind of on. I mean, this isn't the first episode of Star Trek, and we're still working on season 1 of the original series. This would have been episode 27 of the original release. That's not counting Cage.
Right?
Um, but it's not the first time we've dealt with time travel because we had the one episode where they kind of went back in time for a week and had a whole week to live over again.
That they did, yes.
But I mean, this week definitely time travel and interdimensional travel. Next week's episode is also going to have some interdimensional travel on it, and is also another Star Trek first when Kirk swears on the air,
Oh yes.
like over public TV, which is like it's a word that we all say nowadays and nobody even thinks about it. Hell, my kids say it. I just said it. Anybody, like the fact
That's
that
right,
it
right?
was
But
such a big deal.
yeah, it's just funny though that during that time when on television it's just the words that could not be said on TV during that time. And just how
We haven't even gotten to the interracial kiss yet.
oh my gosh. Like we know that probably broke TV on that day.
It broke TV on that day. Yeah.
But
If it were the internet, everybody would be like, "You won the internet today. You broke the internet. It's over."
right? But, hey,
That's
but I would say like I said, shout out to William Shatner for making that happen and breaking breaking TV on that time. But
yeah, and we're really getting into a lot of episodes, not just next week, but in the first parts of season 2, once
mhm.
our Rules of Nerdquisition season ends, which it is coming up. We've only got 2 more episodes to review, and then our big season finale where we review the cinematic masterpiece.
Of Star Trek.
That is
The-
Star Trek the motion picture.
That is Star Trek the motion picture, which is
Hmm.
it saved the franchise. I mean, not the not the best, but hey, it saved Star Trek.
Well, always remember that Star Trek V is the movie that made Star Trek the motion picture seem like a cinematic masterpiece. I mean, I know what they were trying to do at least with episode 1 or with the motion picture. I did not get what was going on in Star Trek V. The motion picture wasn't to do one reboot the series, but also they were trying to bank off of that like psychedelic, trippy madness of 2001. Trying to get a little bit of Kubrick love in there,
Right.
and be taken seriously, not so much in the camp way that Star Trek was loved previously in the original series. So
Yeah.
hey, they tried. The effects were good. I mean, I know he was like, that Roddenberry after Star Wars came out was like, oh.
Well, I mean, not only that. I mean, you got to look at it like this. With the movie budget, they had a lot more money to put into it. They had more money to spend for, at the time, special effects and, sounds and everything like that. No lens flares, thank God. That didn't happen until later.
JJ, we got to talk about that. What?
Like,
is
holy.
going on? If I got to wear sunglasses to watch your movie, something ain't right.
Like
I don't even like to wear 3D glasses when I go. I don't, because 3D movies, like I don't want to wear those big clunky things.
Yeah, I mean, if JJ, look at JJ. If your movies trigger my transitional lenses, there's a problem, man.
Right. Exactly.
There's a problem.
Right.
And, like, come
The
on,
only thing
man.
that should be triggering my transition is sunlight and estrogen, but that's beside. Not you, JJ. Not you. Stick to Lost. Stick to Lost.
Okay. I see it. There's a whole thing going on in the chat. I see kind of with waffles versus pancakes.
Yeah, we're making people hungry.
I only say that. No,
waffles are good though.
No, I only said that because I had waffles this morning, and and see, when I was a kid, I was strictly pancakes. I did, for whatever reason, I just didn't want waffles. And then one day, I went to Ryan's. Was it Ryan's?
Ryan's Steakhouse?
It's either Ryan's or Shoney's. Because went there in the morning, they had the breakfast thing going on, but they didn't have pancakes. They only had waffles. So I was like, as a begrudgingly fat kid that only preferred pancakes, I took waffles because there was no pancakes.
You bastards! You killed Kenny.
Right? And so, as I poured the syrup in there, then I noticed that the little waffles in the pockets of the waffles held the syrup. And so I'm like, ooh. Well, now the little fat kid sense in me started tingling. And I was like, well, that's more syrup I can get in there. That's a little pockets of syrup.
Yeah, and I want to be very clear about this. There's one main reason why I don't like pancakes. Because I used to ask my mom, I'd put syrup on them, and I'd be like, Mom, can I have some more syrup? She's like, no. I'm like, but it's gone. She's like, the pancake just soaked it up. Yes, I realize the pancake is soaking it up, but I'm pretty sure it's like digesting it, because you can pour all the syrup on it and it will soak it all up, and then when you take a bite of it, it's like, where'd the syrup go?
Right?
I can't taste it anymore.
And it's like, and if you do, it's like, it's very subtle. And so, yeah. Yeah, that's why I said for whatever reason.
I used to love IHOP, back in the days before it became hip to just go by everybody's abbreviation, when it was still called the
International House of Pancakes. Yeah.
And they had like the big blue A-frame roofs on top of their buildings. They were iconic. They looked
right.
It's like cars these days. Restaurants, cars, everything. It's all made, mass produced. They all look the same. Like you don't go out on the freeway anymore and drive past cars and go, wow, that one looks cool. Look
right.
Same. Or I'm sorry, we're on a nerd show. They all looked a frack insane.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, it was
note to sell waffles for dinner. Okay. Definitely got to have some waffles. But Jeff was saying in the chat that he didn't mind the Abrams remakes, and we'll review those in detail at some point down the road. But My biggest gripe is, I mean, first of all, we have to acknowledge that the characterizations by most of the actors were spot on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Carl
Okay.
Urban
Oh yeah. I mean,
nailed
Carl Urban nailed it. I mean, Zachary Quinto is
Spock is
his
perfect.
Spock. Without a doubt. Without a doubt, he's
I,
Spock.
I I thought that Scotty and Chekhov were a little over the top, almost to the point of comic relief.
Well, I mean, you got to look
But
at it like, I mean, Scotty, who is he played by? Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg,
And, I mean, Simon Pegg, he's a comedic actor, so
hmm
he's going to bring some, slight humor to Scotty. But I think he still kind of, he did, his best to keep the essence of Scotty, but just, but yeah,
right,
like,
and certainly rest in peace, Anton Yelchin. But yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
Just-
no, I get it. It's, with Chekhov, is with Anton Yelchin and rest in peace, Anton. Um, I think his Russian accent was a little bit too over the top, forced. If that's
Mhm.
if that makes sense. Like he
Right.
tried too hard to like, "Who gift in your the vessel?" It's like what? It's like, oh
It
man.
wasn't even as like bad as when Chekhov was doing it in Star Trek 4. We're trying to
Oh,
find nuclear vessels.
yeah. It's like,
But at
come
the
on.
end of the day, my biggest problem with the Star Trek reboots in the Kelvin timeline is that it tried too hard to be Star Wars. It focused too much on
Yeah,
spectacle and it lost all of it lost the main thing that makes Star Trek what Star Trek is, and that's the moral of the story.
yeah.
There's always
It's always some kind of
the
just
story element.
a morality thing. Just same thing with this past episode. Morality thing of just the eternal struggle within yourself. Having to
Mhm.
for the rest of the time nonstop. Just fighting with yourself and essentially just literally saving everyone around you just because you don't want to destroy the whole universe because you don't want to deal with yourself.
Right.
And so and I get that. And but I think my main thing about with the Kelvin timeline is, and I definitely agree, it focused more on the action rather than the story and morality of the story, or anything like that. It focused more on conflict and what it looks cool, and what kind of the design looks, and how the um Sulu with him fighting and everything like that. And it focused more on that instead of the actual story of Star Trek. But my main
Right.
gripe is is the lens flares, and because for me personally, I it and I know it sounds, and I keep saying about lens flares and everything like that, but it's personally for me is because it's so bright, and it hurts my eyes, and I really get a headache. I really get a very very bad headache from watching those movies.
We've said that before. You turn them on, and within 3 minutes, you're like, "Oh God, it can't
Yeah,
stop, stop! Get the light
yeah,
out of my
and it's
eyes. I
just
can't handle this."
yeah, and that's the main thing that I hate about those movies. And
And that fits into the spectacle thing
yeah,
that he's trying to do. But I mean, like he did so well with like no sound in space. Like when the people got sucked out of the or blown out of the
yeah,
ships,
yeah,
and
and
they're screaming, and it goes silent. Well,
I
there's
can
no air to reflect the light either in the
right,
end.
and so I get
So,
I love the attention to detail like that. I love it instead of just having the generic and you just hear like the noise and everything like that. But no, once you hear the door close, and you just hear that door close, and it's
Right.
and that's it.
Exactly. It was a lot of lens flares and laser beams and explosions and big bada booms.
Hmm.
There's another nerd reference for you. I mean,
Yeah, and it's like all the laser beams and stuff like that. That doesn't bother me. Is when it gets like the overly really bright lens flares, like it's just right in your eyes, and it's just I I can't see the movie, and now my head hurts, and so now I'm just kind of forced to either turning the brightness all the way down, to where I'm to the point where just I'm almost just listening to the movie because I can't watch it. So
yep. Yeah,
that's my biggest gripe about it.
and you've talked about that a lot too. I mean, I think I know that about you as deeply as I know that M. Night Shyamalan owes Thomas the villain $17.50.
1775. Yes.
1775. Okay, see, but
Yes.
yeah, and I
Yes.
sometimes wonder too. I mean, I get some flat pushback on this one because I don't think that Chris Pine was especially good as Kirk. I feel like he was too
Mhm.
young and immature to be given command of a starship, and it shows the difference there too.
Yeah.
Because Shatner was 35 when he first played Kirk, and
Right.
Chris Pine was 27,
Yeah.
and that's 8 years. That you can change a lot in 8 years.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay, but
It's okay.
uh, it's okay. But I know there had to been somebody that could have been a little bit fit the part better. I mean, maybe
And and I
maybe if it took place, say, you know, like maybe just before he got command of the Enterprise, and he played that Kirk. Okay, then yeah, I can see that. Younger Kirk. And
Yeah,
and
Academy Kirk, yes.
yeah, and just getting out of academy, or even his first day as captain of the Enterprise. Okay, I can see that. But he's kind of young. Really, really too young and too immature to be, captain of the flagship of, the Federation. You know what I'm saying?
Did they ever distinctly mention that the Enterprise was the flagship in the original series? I don't remember
I
ever
don't
hearing
know.
that.
I don't
So,
know.
I mean, I'm not denying it. I'm just curious if they did that. They make a big deal about it all the time
Yeah,
in Next Generation.
yeah.
But at
But I
that
don't know.
time,
I don't know if
you're looking at the fifth
iteration of it.
iteration of the
Yeah,
ship.
yeah.
So it's hard to
But
say. And one of my favorite lines is from Star Trek Generations, even though that movie's not fantastic, great either, is when they're on the bridge and they're waiting for, the Lursa and B'Etor to do something.
right,
And Picard's just like, they're just trying to figure out if a 20-year-old bird of prey is a match for the Federation flagship. Which, by
right,
definition, no, it should not be at all. I
right.
mean,
No, it should be. And again, that's kind of thing with Star Trek movies. Like it's like a roller coaster. Like good, bad, good, bad, good, 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 bad, good, 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 bad.
I didn't hate Chris Pine in the Jack Ryan movie that he was in. Was it just called Jack Ryan?
I'm not sure.
He played a younger version. I mean, I have to admit, I'm not a huge like Jack Ryan super fan. It was Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit is what he played in 2004, 14, 2014.
Okay. Oh, it was
And then there's the show on Amazon that's got Reed Richards as Jack Ryan. You can't think of his name right now. All I get Mr. Blue Spaghetti from the Doctor Strange movie, the most recent one, whatever that one was, something about the multiverse.
Multiverse of Madness. Yeah. I will say I did like I liked him in what was that? Dungeons and Dragons. The
haven't seen that yet. Everyone keeps telling me to watch it. I haven't seen that yet. I think I'm still just sore from that first one.
from the one like when was it? Like late 90s, early 2000? Somewhere in there. I want to say it was like late 90s.
I'm checking now. Okay, not that one. Honor Among Thieves is the one with Chris Pine.
Yeah, because I was pleasantly surprised by it.
What was the other one? Because it had a famous actor. I can never remember his name.
It had a Justin something and Marlon Wayans and
I guess there's been a few of them. It was 2000. Oh, what's his name? Dang it, why can I never remember his name? Okay. You're not helping me, thegamer.com. I have problems with you now, so.
Thegamer.com.
Now I gotta go back. To Google. I shall consult the oracle. Jeremy Irons. Why can't I not remember his name? I never remember his name. So it's him, the dude who got his chest bursted out, an alien, and that always they're like always mixed up with like John Malkovich. Like what was that Man in the Iron Mask together? Jeff brings up a good point. Yes, I did like him in Wonder Woman. I think that Wonder Woman, the first one with Gal Gadot, was a fantastic movie all around.
Yes, I did like that one.
Great period piece. Fantastic. So he brings up a point in the chat though. Hot take. He says Picard is greater than Kirk. Let's discuss. The nerds discuss.
Well, here's that's interesting, because
Chuckles, John Hurt's the guy that got his chest burst out.
John Hurt, yes, aka the War Doctor, which you haven't got to that part yet. I know you haven't got to that series. I know you haven't seen it yet. I know this. I'm just letting you know. He played a version of the Doctor.
Okay, well now see. I've watched a few episodes at work, having it on the Pluto TV. I'm so intimidated because there's just so many years. It's been going forever. Yeah, we can say Star Trek is coming up on 60 years. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been active for those entire 60 years. There have been gaps.
That's the same thing with Doctor Who. Because
gaps. I was under the impression it just has never ended.
No. It started in 63, and it went on until 87, 88, and then it had a TV movie in 93, 94.
Okay.
And that was just to try to introduce the Doctor Who to American audiences and try to revitalize the series again. But that didn't really take off that much. And then fast forward to fast forward to around 2005. Yeah, around 2005. Then the new series started, and that's what's been going on until today. So the new series, that is mostly been it started out being written by Russell T Davies and then by Stephen Moffat, and then Chris Chibnall, and then now it's back to Russell T Davies.
Okay.
It's
And kind of the niche there, the thing is that like the doctor changes
yes,
every so often.
yes.
Is there only one doctor at a time?
You get
Like
insert. You get
what? He's like a time guardian,
a time traveler.
time traveler.
Yeah. So during specials, like when they have well, they used to do well the Christmas specials, and sometimes even just they did with the 50-year special. They'll have whoever can still play the Doctor or whoever's available, and who still kind of looks like the Doctor. They'll bring them in and have them revisit, their versions of the Doctor, and kind of interact with the new Doctor. So yeah,
So like one retires. Do they retire? Is that like how it works?
they regenerate. Essentially, is the Doctor is name of his species called that's a whole other story, but essentially, his race is called Gallifreyans, also known as Time Lords. And what happens is that when they regenerate, essentially they die, and they're reborn into a whole new person.
Okay.
Ish. I mean, they still
Well,
is. Think of like almost like a trill in Star Trek.
Gotcha.
Like you take one symbiote out into a new host, take the symbiote out into another host. So yeah. So
And
think of it like
those
that.
Trill episodes are kind of trippy too. Wait till we get to some of those.
Yes.
Stats and stuff.
Let's see, but
Star Trek
let's
does
see.
it best when they're doing this trippy stuff.
Yeah. But as far as Picard versus Kirk, who is better? Let's see.
Actors aside, because I agree with Jeff. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
Sir Patrick Stewart, is a far superior actor
Yes.
than William Shatner. Sorry, Bill. Sorry.
But
Better
I was
Captain though. I have my
debatable.
thoughts, but I want to hear yours. I want to hear yours first.
Is debate. I personally, my personal preference is Picard. Just simply because I just love to hear engage. That.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, not only just that, I mean, just simply because to me personally, he's better at negotiations.
Definitely.
He does. He'll throw fists, but he knows better ways to get out of it than always having to throw fists. And even when he does throw fists, it's a little bit more believable than just and I'll never forget this because it was the one fight scene I saw in a piece of the action where Kirk grabbed the guy's shoulders, shook his shoulders, and just hit him a right punch. And just right here, like nothing, and not even anything that would knock him out, like maybe knock him down, but he shook his shoulders and punched me in the jaw.
Yeah, that episode's coming up. We'll be talking about that one too. See?
Yeah, see.
See? I think. I mean, well, first of all, we've established this already. My favorite Star Trek captain is Cisco. Period.
Yes.
He was absolutely the best. He was a diplomat. He was a fighter and all that stuff. But we're not doing Star Trek captain comparisons today.
But not doing Cisco. Yeah, just
he was a big fan of, let's say, Anakin style aggressive negotiations.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And he just didn't do it with a lightsaber. He did it with his fists.
Exactly.
I still believe that Riker and Picard are Kirk kind of split into two different characters.
Yes.
Riker's the fighter, he's the
Mm.
lover, and Picard is the diplomat, the thinker, the philosopher. Um, Roles that Shatner didn't really pull off well
Yeah.
as his interim as Kirk. But yeah, the
Mm.
entire crew of Star Trek Next Generation is fabulous. I love them all. That's why we couldn't get enough of Picard.
Right.
It's like,
Absolutely.
God, you brought the first two seasons were cool and all, but it wasn't until you brought all seven of them back. Like it's like
Right.
DC post unite the seven. Like, come on.
Exactly.
And getting them all on the bridge again together was just fantastic. I loved it. So, yeah, I mean, great. We'll certainly have lots to
But
talk
yeah.
about when it comes to DS9 now, because I mean, that's a great crew. Also, I was a big fan of O'Brien when he was on TNG, and then they
Yes.
carried him over, and
It
he
did.
got to be in that whole series, and I got more of him. And then, of course, Worf, who's appeared in more Star Trek than any other character, I think.
Right. But
'Cause he's been in
I will
all
say
the
this.
movies.
I definitely loved how they evolved him in Picard, and to which now he's a Section 31's agent, and instead of being like the kind of oh, I'm just going to disable him, he's like, nah, I'm gonna cut your head off. And yeah. And I love that, because now they're, letting Worf be, explore more into his Klingon side. And instead of just kind of trying to make him, conform to Starfleet standards, now he's in this role where now he can fully be Klingon. So yeah, I definitely love that. And
Yeah.
and now
Rather
with
than
that
just
with that
make
whole Picard versus Kirk now. Maybe we should do an episode where we talk about different all the captains.
Maybe we should. Maybe we just
Yeah.
need to do a love letter episode to all the captains. I mean,
Yeah, from
we've
Pike,
got 6.
you got Pike, Kirk, Picard, Cisco, Janeway, Archer, and
And Michael from
Michael Burnham, and
Michael Burnham. Thank you. Yeah, from
oh,
Discovery.
it was her, Giorgio, Philippa Giorgio. It's Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle
Yeah.
Yeoh. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and some of them we have multiple versions. We have 2 different versions of Pike.
Yep.
Three versions actually. 3 different versions
Three
of Pike.
three pikes. They have
We've
3
got
pikes.
1, 2, 3
Yeah.
Kirks that I know of, right?
Yeah,
1,
3
2,
pikes,
3.
3 Kirks, because the one on Discovery, of course, original one, and Chris Pine. So that's 3 Kirks. Yeah.
Got
3
different
Spocks.
Spocks, but
Hmm.
he's not. Well, he was a captain. He was a captain. Technically, he was the
Oh,
captain of
yeah.
the Enterprise in Star Trek 2 when Kirk did
That
his
that is
thing
right.
again and
Yes. Yeah.
took over the ship.
And I think Captain Lorna is on the first episode. He was in first season of Discovery. So Captain Lorna, which it turned out he was from the other universe.
We can look at some other side captains too. I mean, we
Yeah.
got Rachel Garrett, captain of the Enterprise C. I mean, we got to
Yeah.
see a decent portion of her, and I think she is in the upcoming Star Trek Section 31 movie. That character, Rachel Garrett, is in the movie.
Yeah. So
So that should be interesting to see another take on, 2 versions of Rachel Garrett.
right.
So, but yeah, plenty of stuff to talk about. And Jeff, just so you know, you don't have to worry about co-opting the live. We go through our episode review pretty quick, and then we just dive into nerd stuff, because that's what
Yeah.
we just want to talk about nerd stuff. Last week we talked about space travel because somebody made a TikTok video and said, "I'm going to ruin all."
So, yeah.
"Ha, ha, ha, we shall
So-
unruin it."
So yes, we did our usual review, and then we talked about space travel, space warp, all all the good stuff.
And I think that our reviews will get more detailed as we get into, again, the big three
Yeah,
with TNG, Voyager, and DS9, because those are more fresh in everybody's memory, but also, TOS, for all of its contributions to Star Trek and stuff, is a show that is 50 plus years old. So, I mean,
yeah.
it was,
But
has a
here's the
lot
thing.
of its time period that it was made in reflected in the show.
Yeah, and again, like just like yeah, you say, a lot of it is time period stuff, but what's some of the stuff that still kind of applies today is still kind of scary. And it's like,
It is. Yeah,
and it's like
absolutely.
with
Please carry on.
mental health issues and dealing with PTSD and grief, and even with the sometimes with political scopes and everything. It's crazy, but yeah, it's when it still applies, it's almost kind of scary. At least it is to
It
me.
is,
I don't know about anybody else. It is to me.
and not to mention the major contributions it's made to technology.
Oh
We
yeah,
wouldn't have some of it is outdated by our standards now, but we wouldn't have had 3.5-inch floppy disks or flip phones. I
right.
think if it wasn't
So
for
we
Star
would,
Trek.
you're right. When I have flip phones, floppy disks, or even now to this day because of DS9 and Voyager. We have tablets, um, phones. The way our
Hmm.
smartphones are now. Yeah. So
Oh yeah, our tablets are
yeah,
far more advanced than like the ones that they use there. I'm still waiting though. I mean, I was really interested in that X Prize they did, where it was like they challenged a bunch of people, that $1 million prize, where they challenged people to develop something, and what they tried to come up with. One of the ones I was looking at was to make a tricorder.
right. Yeah,
That was pretty interesting. We
yeah.
don't quite
That's
have the
cool.
one where you can just grab your device and go woo 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 woo, and then know like every ailment that you have. I mean, that'd be nice, but
Yeah, we haven't got to that point yet.
haven't got to that point. But I
So
definitely think yes, an episode of the captains, just talking about all the captains,
yeah, it just kind of.
because there's
Well, I mean,
some
of
good
course,
ones.
naturally, you're gonna have to tell which one is our favorite captain. So
Of course, always want to talk about him, of course, and I like those love letter episodes too. It gives us more topics to talk about, because I don't think that we could ever sit here and do like we're doing with Star Trek right now. To when we're done with this in what 20 years, start Doctor Who
right.
or or Stargate or or anything else like that. I mean,
Yeah.
that we would have to choose successors to carry the torch on, because we would never be able to get there.
Yeah. So and again, I like the love letter episodes as well. Just for the same reason where we have different topics. So again, I love these episodes here where we talk about Star Trek and then veer off into our ADHD realm of nerddom and
Realm of
just let
Nerdom,
the
also sprinkled with the random guest every so often. We've
right.
had
Yeah.
three guests, not four if you count Thomas, but we're all in the same network.
Yeah.
We're all just employees of the same company.
Right.
He's the owner. We just work for him.
Yeah. So it is what it is. So I.
You don't
But
have to carry the episode, the love letter to Doctor Who, but I'm certainly interested in hearing a lot of the insight into it, because again, it's a franchise I haven't got. I still need to catch up on Star Trek. I have
yeah.
not finished Discovery yet, and we're on the cusp of Strange New Worlds season 3 is coming soon.
Yes. And
So
here's the thing. I haven't even finished Enterprise, and how long has that been out? I mean, Jesus
Oh gosh,
Christ.
that came out 2000.
Yes.
I want to say.
2000, 2001, something somewhere in there.
I think it might be the 90s because
It may have been like
I
90, like late 90s,
I
because
think
it
it's
didn't.
2000, 2001 to 2005. So
Yeah, because I knew they switched formats to a widescreen format on Enterprise, because up until up until Voyager, it did it at a 4:3 aspect ratio. This one, it did a 16:9 aspect ratio, and that's when that's where it started. It's been going like that ever since. So that's the only way I know. That's around 2000 ish.
yeah, I knew there was one series that started when my oldest was only 1 year old, and my oldest turned 30 um, just recently. So it was Voyager. That was the one I remember watching, holding my oldest, who was only barely a year old, just watching, because that came out in '95. They were born in '94, but yeah, I knew there was one.
Hmm.
But Enterprise, I didn't really watch it when it came out on TV. I watched the first couple episodes, and I was kind of put off by it, and I was like, I don't know if I like it all that much. And then, because it was just going backwards. Why are we always going backwards?
Yeah.
I like Discovery because they went way in the future.
Yes. Like I get,
I like the
I like the nod that they did to, to the past, with Pike and with Spock being there, like the whole nod, and then slingshot into the future. Like, yes, this is where the story of it should be. And so I appreciate it, they're showing, where they were, and ending up, this is where it's at. So I appreciated that. Definitely.
And
You know,
Chuckles brings up in the chat the one scene in Star Trek 4 when Dr. McCoy rushes in to save Chekhov, and they just put the little device on his head. And it's like rather than drilling holes. But yeah,
yes.
for all of you watching, Gilbert's not looking forward to that one. I don't think he likes that one all that much. I think it kind of irritates him. But there is one cool thing about it. Shout out to Kirk Thatcher, who played the punk rocker on the bus that Spock does the neck pinch on.
Hmm.
Not only wrote the song that he was listening to, and it was played by his, at the time, punk rock band that he was in, he went on to become like some master special effects wizard. Had a whole career out of it. And
Nice.
reprised his role. And reprised his role in, what was it, Picard season 2? When they
Okay.
went back in time
Yeah, yeah. Season 2, yeah.
and ran into Seven. And yeah, he's playing the same punk rock character. So yeah, that was great. Yeah, Jay Thomas jumping
Mm.
into the chat there. How you doing? Always happy to have
Yeah.
people pop in there. But
Yeah.
yeah, we just we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. I think a whole bunch of cool stuff. And you can have your Doctor Who love letter episode. I'm still gonna get my Darth Vader love letter episode.
Of course.
You know,
Of
but all
course.
those
And I mean,
things.
and well, here's the thing. I know with the Darth Vader episode, it may have to be a two-parter on that one, because, there's just so much to talk about with Vader,
Ooh, yeah.
from from just from the movies versus, um, Hayden Christensen reprising his role on Obi-Wan. Um, especially that badass scene on Rogue One.
The hallway scene, it was so
Yes.
instrumental, so inspiring. They had to
Hmm.
give Luke one of his own.
Of course. Of course.
And,
Yeah, I mean,
in Mando season 2, is that
yes.
what it was?
Season 2 of Mando. He had to
Yeah,
have his hallway
scene.
scene. And after that, you just look at it as like, don't ever be in a hallway where the Skywalker is walking. You don't ever want to do that, because you may end up with a lightsaber in your chest if you walk in the hall with a Skywalker.
they're going to be doing the walking, and you're the Walking Dead. 'Cause it is
Right.
I want to give, while we're talking about hallway scenes, I want to give a very special shout out to Charlie Cox from season 1 of Daredevil. That hallway fight scene
Oh.
was one
Oh.
one whole take of him just in and out of rooms in that hallway fighting all those dudes. That was incredible.
That was an amazing scene. And
Incredible.
again, he's one of those ones. You know, don't be in a hallway with him. You don't want to do that. Don't be in a hallway with him because
especially if the lights are out.
yeah, because it's not going to end well. It will not end well for you if you're in a hallway with these people. You know, don't go in a hallway with anybody. The last name is Skywalker. Don't go in a hallway. You know, don't go in the hallway with a guy that lives in a place called Hell's Kitchen. You definitely don't want to do that. Matter of fact, any hallways at all, you know, you don't want to be in a hallway.
Or even with a Jedi, because Obi-Wan got his hallway scene too.
Right? Yes. It's so
When he was rescuing Leia from the underwater
Mhm.
prison.
so you don't be in a hallway with these people. Do not be in a hallway.
Yes, a Screen Rant actually has an article, all 6 Star Wars hallway scenes ranked. I don't know why they consider Han Solo running from stormtroopers in that category, but that's number 6. Obi-Wan and the Fortress Inquisitorius is number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Baylan Skull's prison break in Ahsoka. I don't remember that one. Why don't I remember that one? Because I love Baylan Skull, and I am very, very sad that terrible with names has passed away. Because he was a good classic dark side using character.
Yeah. Yeah. And
number 3, Darth Maul in the Clone Wars finale. That
Okay.
was a good one.
Okay, yeah.
That was a good one.
Definitely a good
Number
one.
2 is Luke. Luke comes for Grogu, and of course, number 1.
Vader in the hallway with Rogue One. Of course. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. How I don't know about anybody else. I'm instantly shitting my pants. The second that the second I would see that red lightsaber, I'm shitting myself instantly because I know what's coming.
They were, and I think that scene, the other giving the other actors credit, ones that basically just were on screen to die, they reinforced how terrifying he should be.
Yes.
Especially when they're at the door, like, get us out of here, because they know.
They know. And then what? The people on the other side of the door, they went, shoot, close this mother. That should close it, and almost had the look on their faces like, I will remember you.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I want to say too, and maybe someone in the chat knows this. In season 2 of Daredevil, the stairwell fight, was that all filmed in one take?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I shall consult the article. Was it one take? That's what I want to know. It's one take.
Yeah, Jeff Pierce in chat says, don't get into a hallway on the big wheels with 2 twins dressed like Dorothy Gale.
There you go. Yes, that is another thing.
That's
Next
another.
thing you know, elevators are opening up
And just
a
cats whole
and dogs living together. Mass
hysteria. You know, that's definitely you don't want to go in the hallway with 2 twins like that. No.
found a conversation topic here while we round up this show. Hallway movie scenes. I'm gonna just see if I can find some good ones out here. What else we got?
So I will say, you know what really surprised me on how good it was actually the Acolyte, because I went in there with complete with Star Trek burnout, just completely worn out from
Star Wars burnout, you mean?
Star Wars. Yeah, sorry, complete burnout on it. You
I know
know,
what you meant.
just from Obi-Wan, Ahsoka. Well, yeah, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Book of Boba Fett. No, Mandalorian. And just from all,
Boba Fett ended up becoming Mandalorian season 2.5.
yeah, basically, yeah. And so just from all those, I got kind of burnt out, and so I went in there with completely low expectations. And tonight, I really enjoyed Acolyte. I really enjoyed it.
And then they pulled.
And they pulled the plug on it. And it was like, oh, what the hell? What the hell? Like, it shows it. And for anybody that hasn't seen it, too late. I'm about to spoil something. It essentially shows like the starting of the Sith, how Sith started, and the whole whatnot. And so yeah, it's really good. It's really really good.
It is really good, but it goes to show that some of the older, less melanated Star Wars fans don't like that diversity, because I've said this before.
They do not.
You know how much crap that Moses Ingram got for her portrayal of the third sister in Obi-Wan? It's like, what are you talking about?
yeah.
She was amazing.
Right? Yeah. And
But because she's a woman of color, because she's a
But-
black woman,
right.
oh no,
She did.
Star Wars has gone woke.
So, this, no, I don't like this. This is not my Star Wars.
I mean,
It's,
I think that Billy D. Williams, almost in a way, I kind of felt like Lando was kind of a token character by introducing him, because he's really only one of the black actors that's in the original. But he owned that role, so he rose above.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Showed his charisma in that role. So I mean, so yeah, he was able to kind of escape that. I don't see why Moses wasn't given that same introspection. Because I thought she was great.
I don't know.
I don't know the name of the girl from Acolyte, because I liked her too, and she had to play herself. It's always tough. Amandla Stenberg. Is that how you say her name? Amandla? I hope I'm saying it right.
I'm not sure. We're gonna go with that, but
Amandla. Anyway, yeah, but I always got to give somebody credit when they pull off the twin thing.
oh yeah,
Well, and she did it well.
oh yeah, she did it very well. Yeah, but
Definitely
yeah.
something. I mean, but Star Wars will be a big topic on many shows to come, I'm sure. But I feel you. The Star Wars burnout is there, definitely. Same thing with the Marvel burnout.
Oh god, it's even worse with Marvel burnout. It's even worse.
Mm-hmm. And it does stem from, like, I think a lot of people like my dad, who something like the Infinity Saga appeals to them because it's just a bunch of action and superheroes that they grew up with, and they can see that. Then you get into all this multiverse stuff, and my dad's like, I don't even know what's going on anymore. And I can understand that, even though he did try once to tell me, he was like, I don't know how you can watch Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, it's got this weird talking raccoon in it. I'm like, Dad, you're wearing a T-shirt right now that says Sharknado on it. I don't want to hear what you think is weird. Okay, so I mean, like, he has all those movies and T-shirts and stuff. So yes, he's a big Sharknado fan. I don't know why, but he would probably have good conversation with Thomas because he does like movies with big monsters that come along and do stuff like the Godzilla movies and stuff like that. He was really big into those. So
Oh
there's
yeah.
another franchise. We won't be able to talk about that one without bringing Thomas back.
Oh yeah. But with Godzilla, and the thing is,
Kaiju,
my
that's his thing.
my dad loved Godzilla. He loved Godzilla movies, and which is kind of reason why I started I like Godzilla movies is actually most of the stuff I like simply is all because of my dad. You know, my
Same.
Star Trek, Star Wars, anything that's like that. It's because of my dad. Uh,
Yeah. My dad getting me into Star Trek. He's
yeah.
like, hey, you'll like it. It's got that actor from that movie with the giant ants. I'm like, what movie with the giant ants? The bugs and creatures and things. That's you. I do love Godzilla, though. I do love Godzilla. My dad took me to see Godzilla 1985. It was the first one I ever saw in the theater, and they played the little short at the beginning called Godzilla Meets Bambi. Yeah, I like that. I like that one. That's a good one. It's like, oh, look at the cute little deer eating in the woods. Oh, it's so peaceful. Oh.
Oh, I love that. That was hilarious. But
Yeah, but I mean, you get into this. Marvel's just gotten so crazy that your mainstream fans don't know what's going on. If you're a comic book fan, that's one thing because
yeah,
you know how it is. You can walk into a comic book store and there could be 10 Batman titles on a shelf, and in each one he's living a different life.
yeah,
Same for
and
Spider-Man, Superman, every other hero out there.
yeah. And so
And
that's kind of partially it's like the whole multiverse of it. So yeah, so you could have 10 Batman titles, and each one is a whole different story with
a whole different story.
different stories, and even probably with different Batman. So it just kind of is what it is. Same thing with Superman.
DC and Marvel
DC,
both have
yeah,
their versions of the multiverse, So
yeah. So again, those are movies that if because the way I can see that the way the movies are written, that they're written to be like somebody that's never read the comics ever. You'll still be able to know who the characters are, enjoy the story, enjoy the action to it. And the thing is that and the big kind of thing what ruffles the feathers of a lot of hardcore comic book nerds is how the movies sort of go along the lines of the comics, but a lot of times they'll bring in elements of different stories along in the comics, but and so it sort of kind of bastardizes the story, and so that's kind of where they get the whole disconnect with it, and because they don't see it as just its own separate entity and enjoy it and appreciate it being its own separate thing, because they're so used to the comic version of it and so used to the comic book and the comics of it, and it's that no, the story of if it's Secret War Saga is supposed to go this way, and it's only supposed to go this way. Now, why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? Blah 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 blah. And it takes away from them just enjoying the movie, and just kind of takes away from other people enjoying the movie. So.
And they did that with Star Trek too, though. I think that's the reason they took out some of the moral of the story. in the
Yeah.
new version because they want to appeal to a bigger, broader audience, and that's what you're in danger of losing with all this craziness that we're doing, trying to bring in so many comic elements. I know from the Infinity Crisis that the X-Men were hugely involved
Right.
in that fight.
Exactly.
They
Yeah.
weren't even present in the
Yeah.
MCU at that
And
in
it's
our version. So
and again, it's and the only reason that is because of the licensing that Sony had it and Disney didn't. So they couldn't do anything with it with X-Men or even anything with Fantastic Four or anything like that until they said now.
but by the time they get in there, all the main like,
And
we've already got Iron Man's gone,
mm-hmm.
Captain, Steve Rogers, his Captain America's gone. So we're getting into whole new characters that the X-Men would have interacted with frequently.
Right. And so now it's pretty
And
much
now they're
like
not going to be there.
like characters like, Fantastic Four, um uh who else? X-Men, everybody like those. They're just now
X-Men.
kind of catching up.
What's the what was the one? Did it already come out or is it not out yet? The one that has like all the like sub characters as a group, not Defenders like they did with the Netflix series, but which wasn't bad except for glowing fist guy.
Iron Fist.
Thank you, Iron Fist. God, that series was terrible.
So no, again,
You are right, Chuckles, in the chat. We're done with origin stories. Stop.
oh,
We all
we know,
how
yeah,
they got there.
we all know the origin stories of Batman. We all know the origin stories. We don't need an origin story. We just need a story.
Thank you, Matt Reeves, for not
Doing an origin.
Origin with the Batman.
Yes.
The shirt that I'm wearing today. Thank you. We know his parents are dead. Okay.
So yes, we know this. We've known this for over 70 years now. Okay, we know this.
We've all seen the bumper sticker on the back of the minivan, with Batman standing next to two gravestones, like little stick figure families.
Yes, we know this.
My Bat family. We know this story already.
Right. We all know at this point, Bruce Wayne should have already gotten therapy at this point. We all know this.
But I don't want to let Jeff's comment go unanswered where he says none of it would have been possible without Blade. And I cannot wait. Are you ready for this, Thomas? For Mahershala Ali to portray Blade. I cannot wait.
Unfortunately, it has gotten canceled.
Did it get canceled?
It did get canceled. Unfortunately, Mahershala Ali, that movie got canceled. Maybe I that's a rumor that I read on.
I'm gonna be sad. When did this article?
A part of my one of the news articles that came out.
I found one in June of this year that says it's pushed back to 2027. Oh, wait a minute. As of right now, Blade is scheduled to arrive in theaters November 7th, 2025. Okay. I'm confused. Is it or isn't it? By every definition, what I'm looking at says it's coming. But
Jeff in the chat says it was delayed indefinitely. So
delayed indefinitely.
So it could come out or it could not come out.
Let's see. November 9th, 2023. Blade release date pushed back again. Marvel Studios updated release schedule, shifted Blade from February 14, 2025 to November 7, 2025. Captain America Brave New World moving from July 26, 2024 to Blade's Halloween release date. And then here's one, Blade canceled.
But yeah, definitely I do definitely agree that Blade was the one that started it all. Because
October
from
22nd, 2024, Disney pulls Blade from its release schedule. because the director left, Delroy Lindo. Yep, and definitely delayed. That's right.
Yep.
God, I can even say his name.
Mahershala Ali. Yes.
Mahershala Ali drives Thomas crazy because he can't.
Yes.
But again, I am the
But-
person who liked when Iran was in the news, like back in the 90s. I made it or early 2000s. I made a point to learn how to say Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, who was the president of Iran at that time.
Right.
While we slowly work towards the end of this show, back to the hallway scenes. Punisher, John Bernthal, hall, prison.
Oh, yeah. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait for Punisher, whatever movie they do for the Punisher or series or whatever with John Bernthal. Oh,
Yeah, he's coming back in the Daredevil Reborn series with
Yep.
Charlie Cox. It's going to be on Disney, so I'm happy about that. He's my favorite Punisher so far.
oh yeah, especially if he got the official nod from Thomas Jane. Yeah. Yeah,
Thomas
definitely.
Jane wasn't bad, but I liked his little short film that he did better than the actual movie
Mhm.
he was in. Did you ever see the short film that he did?
No, I didn't. I didn't see that. I'll have to go look that up on YouTube then. But I like Ray Stevenson. I liked his
It's called Dirty Laundry. It's only 10 minutes long.
Okay, I'll check that out. I definitely check that out. But I definitely liked Ray Stevenson, his portrayal of the Punisher.
Again, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Punisher, Balin Skull. Man,
Yeah. I liked his version of it. Dolph Lundgren.
I didn't hate the movie when it came out. It's kind of got cult status now,
I didn't
but it's not great.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it. I just thought it was just there. So
Yeah.
up until Blade, superhero movies sucked. Like they just sucked. And Blade was the movie that basically pretty much saved Marvel because they were going bankrupt until Blade came out. And the only reason that a studio agreed to do Blade was because it was cheap. That the property was cheap to use, so they chose Blade.
And it
Little-
didn't have a lot of like superpowers in it because it's just a fighting movie, really. Vampire.
Yeah,
and stuff
it's just
like that.
it's a vampire movie.
I mean, a lot of people will argue they're like, "Oh, well, it was Tim Burton's Batman in 1989 that relaunched the superhero world." Maybe for DC, but that's the only two
but that's
movies
not
they can make is Batman and Superman.
right.
But we're getting another Superman. Like they're like that. This we're going to quit this and just start over again.
Yeah.
Stop doing that.
And Jeff in the chat said a Guyver reboot film.
Like the Mark Hamill movies.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. We need a Guyver movie. We need a new Guyver movie. Which I didn't like the second one. I liked the first one. I didn't like the second one too much. But the Guyver, it is such a good movie. So for anybody that does not know about the Guyver is essentially like an alien armor that basically it becomes a part of this kid. It's like 18, 19-year-old kid, and it gets thrown into this whole war of these monsters that want the Guyver unit, which is what they call the whole armor set. It's called a Guyver unit. I wish the Guyver unit is alive-ish. And yes, kaiju but small. Yes, exactly.
Right.
And
But
so,
small. Oh,
and so the
that's actually
Guyver
small.
unit essentially is like once it's activated, then it gives the person increased strength, flexibility, speed, everything like that. And so of course naturally it gives y'all all the fighting skills that all the armor has accumulated, and you essentially become a fighting machine to defeat these kaijus. And so
Yeah,
it's a
been a
great
long
movie.
time. 1991 film.
Yeah, it's a great movie. It definitely needs a reboot. Definitely needs a reboot.
That would be good. Yeah, I could definitely go for that. I'm gonna have to go see where I can watch the original again because now you got me all wanting to watch it. Um, Hallway scenes, The
But
Matrix, first
oh
Matrix,
yes,
walking through the metal detectors and then just destroying everything in the
absolutely.
hallway.
So with
And
Neo and Agent Smith, oh
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 yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
definitely great hallway scene. Oh,
Good one.
that's
And
great hallway scene.
another one that I found on here, I guess it's okay. It's kind of funny in a way. Is Iron Man 2, Black Widow's hallway fight while Happy's really
Oh
trying to
yeah,
beat that one dude, and then he's like, "I got him!" And then there's like all the bodies in the hallway because
because
taking
she's just
everybody
taking
out.
everybody out. She's done all kinds of flips and acrobatic stuff. And just and it's like, haha, got one. Oh,
Yeah,
that's cute. Said that's cute.
that's cute.
Yay! Look at you. It's like,
But yeah, I definitely think Trinity and Neo just blowing everything to pieces. That's a great one. Darth Vader and Luke, obviously.
of course.
Black Widow. I don't know why they ranked Black Widow above Darth Vader on this list. What are you talking about? Oh, one more I'd like to talk about, and even though it's just a very brief, Inception. When
Oh,
what's his face is fighting in the hallway and it's rotating
yeah.
because he's actually in the van that's rolling down the hill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was
Yes.
incredible. That was a good one.
That's a good one. That was a really good one. And so, yeah, it seems like that where it's trippy and they're fighting like the that one scene in Doctor Strange, the first one where he's like kind of bending around the whole city while they're fighting
Right.
Caecilius.
Right, exactly. Just a whole bunch of fun stuff. Some of these other ones I haven't even heard of, so I mean I'm not mentioning a movie Old Boy fighting with a hammer. It's a 2003 Korean movie, so that's probably why I haven't seen
Oh well, then
it.
that's why.
Hit girl infiltrates Frank's headquarters in
Ooh,
Kick-Ass.
that's a really good one.
Totally.
Oh, that's a good one. Any one of those kick-ass films, if it's something, yeah, it's a good one.
I am
It's a
sad that they pulled the plug on Kick-Ass 3. I would have loved to have seen them round out the trilogy and
oh,
finish
that
it
would
off.
have been nice. Yeah, it
But they
definitely would have been
canceled it.
nice.
So, so sad. It is what it is. But yeah, some good ones. Of course, Daredevil made the list. Vader made the list. Luke did not make the list on this one.
Jay Thomas in the chat said, MacGyver, MacGyver said the Guyver unit was on a woman. And said like instead of a MacGyver having the Guyver, and the Guyver as MacGyver was a woman.
Yeah, but see, the thing about MacGyver is MacGyver would make a Guyver out of a chewing gum wrapper, a shoestring,
Right?
and a couple of
So
coins. Just whatever he had in his pocket at the time. He's going to make a Guyver
yeah.
out of it.
Well, I mean, you got to have the gum wrapper, couple coins, and a paper clip. And you got to,
Right.
and you have your own Guyver. So MacGyver could
Probably a
make a
good thing.
Guyver.
Probably a good thing MacGyver never had like regular access to duct tape and WD-40 because that's like the basics of everything in the world.
Oh
If
shit!
you
If
need
he
something to
look,
move and it doesn't, WD-40. If it's
hmm
something moves and it shouldn't, duct tape.
right, 'cause if He pulled that he pulled out WD-40 duct tape and chewing gum. That's it. That's it. He could build a house with that. Duct tape, chewing gum, duct tape, chewing gum, and WD-40. He could build a mansion.
And you're not stepping on anyone's toes, Jeff. I love the interaction with people watching the show. That you want to sit there and listen to us two ADHD rattled brains go from one topic to something completely different.
Right?
I appreciate that enough. Throwing suggestions in the chat is always welcome.
So we got Guyver at home.
But they would probably do that if they remake. Did they remake MacGyver? I think they did remake.
They did a MacGyver remake, yeah. Yeah.
It's just another white. It's just another white dude.
Yeah, and I think the whole premise to that show that it was the original MacGyver, like his son is basically doing the same thing the original MacGyver did. So it's just like same thing except it's his son.
The promotional poster shows a picture of him kind of looking like off in the distance. He's got a paper clip in his mouth.
Of course. If he had a paper clip in it, or he had a pack of like what is it? Like a thing of spearmint gum, like juicy fruit. That's it. That's what I was looking for.
Right. There you go. Yeah, correct. And what was he? Oh, okay. So Richard Dean Anderson. For some reason, I thought he was the same guy that played Pike in the Kelvin timeline. No, he was.
No,
in Stargate,
he was.
Wasn't he?
He was in Stargate and he was in Enterprise. Yes, SG-1.
SG-1. He was playing Kurt Russell's character from the movie, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
It
I never really watched Stargate the show except for a few episodes at my dad's house. I love the movie.
Oh, SG-1 is good. Atlantis is good. But SG-1 is a little bit better. SG Universe, it's good, but it's different. It'll take a little bit getting used to because SG-1 had a mix of, action, comedy, and, sci-fi-ish elements to it and whatnot. Whereas SGU focused a little bit more on the science aspect. Not as much, no jokes or anything like that, but it focused more on the science of the science fiction rather than, anything else. But Jeff, they did a Quantum Leap reboot.
I was going to mention that.
Couple years ago.
It's still on the air. It started in 2022 and it's still airing.
Yeah,
that's what they're saying here.
And so and with that one, I like it a little bit better because they're adding a little bit more to the story of it. Whereas the original one, I mean, yeah, it had the story of he went back in time and he's trying to fix things that went wrong, and then getting stuck, and then just kind of just shit on everybody at the end and saying that oh well, he could have gone back home anytime, but he just didn't want to. It's like, man, come on. We spent this whole time trying, thinking that oh well, the next leap could be his leap home, and this da 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 da. It's like, man, come on. We went through this whole journey, this whole goddamn journey, just for him to talk to God and God to say, "Oh, you can go home anytime you want to. You just don't want to."
Sometimes
What?
shows just take a crap at the very end, but yeah, Jeff, it's like a sequel. Essentially, Beckett went into the quantum leap accelerator and vanished. So now we have a new person who's
Yeah.
jumping through the accelerator trying to find him.
Yeah. So essentially, it's like this. They tracked him. They tracked Sam Beckett, and then just one day they just lost him. And so now, with this new quantum leap, they restarted the whole thing, made a whole different team to it, and so now they add a whole different storyline as to exactly somebody knows what happens to Sam, but they don't know. Somebody knows what's happened, but they ain't talking. And so now they're trying to find out who knows where Sam is because, trying to find the person that knows where Sam is and trying to find Sam and everything like that. So it's really good. It's on Peacock? No. Peacock, I think.
What network is it on?
I think it's on Peacock.
Well, there's a Peacock advertisement on this page, but it's not telling me what network it's on. Let's see. No.
I want to say it's on Peacock because I think I saw it. I want to say it's on Peacock.
Probably because I think it is Peacock because Peacock is owned by NBC and NBC has had the show. It's their show. The original was their show. So it's Peacock. It is Peacock. Essentially NBC, just their streaming app. So, which was cool until they started making us pay for it.
Right.
But,
so
probably can't talk about Quantum Leap without at least saying, rest in peace, Dean Stockwell. You were awesome.
Absolutely.
I absolutely love to hate you on the Battlestar reimagining.
God's damn it!
Awful. Your character was awful, but
That's it.
A good actor will make you hate a character that's supposed to be hated, and he was supposed to be hated.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time you saw me, you just made you want to say, "Just God's damn it!"
Oh, God's damn it! Pavel, go frack yourself.
Absolutely.
Frack off, you fracking frack.
You fracking son of a frack.
Oh, man. Yeah, so, I don't know. As far as I'd heard, even though it did get canceled, I know you were mentioning, apparently Peacock's Battlestar Galactica remake was supposed to be a sequel. It wasn't going to be a reboot again. So, but that's been canceled anyway. So it's they're not doing it anyway. That's been done.
Okay.
And I
think that's. I think that's for the best.
2004 series was good. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're good.
I think that's for the best. Just if you want to do it as a sequel, okay. We don't need it, but okay. Because the 2004 series, the way it ended perfectly. It was a complete bow, tied up all the whatever holes that were, left open from the beginning of the series up until then had been completely filled. There was nothing else to say. And it ended as, hey, we're here, we're great. And then everything and tied into all of the stories and the history and everything with our society today, it all stems from them. So it's like, hey, cool. And it ties in perfectly. And I'm happy with that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think so. And I guess as we close in on the debrief, and I'll just throw mine out there real quick. It's a short one. Just something that Jeff said that I thought was we should do a love letter to villains. because he
Oh,
brought up Jack Gleason
yes.
in Game of Thrones
Yeah.
made you hate
Oh, it made you.
Joffrey.
You hated Joffrey. And the thing is that, and you see him in interviews and everything like that. He's one of the nicest kids you'll ever meet.
He's one of the nice. He's the kid who got the little gadget from Batman when
Yeah.
Batman was climbing up outside the building, and he's like,
So
"Oh, the kids they're gonna beat. I'm gonna say I saw you. They're gonna beat
they
me up."
they know they're not gonna believe me, and he handed him a batarang, which kind of dangerous. I mean,
I think it was the thing he was using to look in the window with, like the camera thing
no,
that
no,
he was
no,
looking at.
no. He gave him a batarang. He was just looking out the window, and then he just saw Batman climbing up. And he said, "Oh, it's you! Oh, my friends, they'll never believe I saw you."
It
And he
says it was
hands,
a periscope.
oh,
It says it
Periscope.
was his
Oh,
periscope
okay.
that he was using to look in the window. But whatever. Yeah.
And hands him a batarang, and it's like, it's
those
like,
batarangs were sharp.
right? It's like, oh, really, really great move there, Bruce. I mean, handing a very deadly weapon to a child. That's a great parenting there, Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
U.S. agent who was played by
Wyatt
Wyatt
Russell.
Russell.
Yep.
We didn't like agent or U.S. agent, but hey, Wyatt, you did a good job making me
Oh yeah,
like you.
Wyatt Russell did he did a great job because
We'll have to do like a whole episode on villains, I think, and the actors that played them. Because what you don't want to be is the kid who played Anakin Skywalker at 9 years old.
oh
He was so panned and bullied for his role
oh
in that movie. He
yeah,
ended up, you know, spiraling into psychosis and mental
like he went to
disorders.
yeah he suffered through really bad deep depression and PTSD. Yeah, he got bullied real bad for Anakin.
He's kind of coming out of it. It was Jake Lloyd.
Yeah.
I read an article last week that said that someone saw him in public and someone was talking, someone interviewed his mom or something. She said he's doing much better. He's sort of reintegrating into society. So, much love to you, Mr. Lloyd. I hope everything works out for you and you get things going. Whether those movies were good or not, no one
Mm.
deserves what
Right.
you went through. You,
No.
you got to do something that every kid in America dreamed of.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And so sorry that happened to you, and you did not deserve it at all. None of it. You did not deserve it. And
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's a rough. It's
it's rough.
bad story.
Yeah.
It's a bad story. Yeah. But anyway, that's all I have to say. Yes, it was a trippy Star Trek episode. The best treks are trippy.
Right?
I have nothing else to add, really. I like them when they get trippy. Next
Yeah.
week we do the City on the Edge of Forever.
City on the Edge of Forever. Yeah. So,
And then whatever else we talk about afterwards. Maybe we'll be inspired with a subject. Maybe we'll just do one of the, what do they call these, can of beans episodes, where afterward we just kind of,
so just whatever.
wherever the beans
Whatever.
spill, we go there.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely agree. This fun episode, trippy episode. Goes deep into just the scientific aspect and kind of fiction aspect, and then ends up with being a whole existential crisis thing if you think about it. And it'll break your brain. And the only thing I have left is to say is that everyone keep your triple spayed and neutered and live long and prosper. That's all I got.
We'll see you on the Villains View tonight. Everybody take care.